So I'm in the board a hole here on my phone. You can see my green screen. You can see into my house. It's a weird thing to say, but we just thought we'd do something a little bit different, a little bit fun. And we're going to react to our own predictions that we did last year. The bold predictions for 2021 is up. Then we get on to my prediction. And I said that the XFL is not going to die and may be a success. So, much like many times in my life, I'm somewhere in the middle ground. Because it did die, but then it got brought back to life by The Rock in the strangest news of 2020. And it also kind of died because of the pandemic. And I watched some of it, and it was far better than 2001 one. So that doesn't really count as a tick for or a tick against. It just means, as always, I'm a loser. I've already made my predictions for this year. Not gonna lie, it was a joint effort, a lot of people threw it in there. But my big prediction for all of you is that you all have wonderful lives and all your dreams come true. I'm really annoying, aren't I? And I'm never gonna stop.
So I once got asked, sarcastically I might add, do you ever get tired of being right, Adam? And no, obviously I don't get tired. It's great being right all the time. Get on my level. But of course, I'm not really gonna take too much pride or brag too much about correctly predicting that CM Punk would not return to professional wrestling in 2020 for two reasons. The first being obviously that it was a bit of a year, if you recall, and thus we don't really know how things would have turned out under normal circumstances for anything in the world, never mind just pro wrestling. But also, this was not a speculative punt. This was not, I didn't reach into the darkness and pull out this CM Punk prediction. This was something that was borne out by the available evidence. If you read the court notes from his thing with the WWE doctor and literally anything he said anywhere else, you could tell he was so done with being a pro wrestler. Don't get me wrong, I said it in the video, he didn't hate pro wrestling, he just hated being a pro wrestler. The injuries, the time on the road, having to work with idiot creative, all that stuff. He was so tired of that. And of course, when AEW came along, those things, they were not there. They weren't problems, and yet he still didn't jump there in 2019. So why the hell would he do it to himself in 2020? And of all things, go to a company where all those things were problems. It was such a no-brainer that I'll tell you what, I'm delighted that I'm right. Not just because obviously it's great to be right all the time, but because I'm happy for him. Because CM Punk being a pro wrestler in 2020 or in 2021 or in 2022 or whatever would be absolutely miserable. He would hate it, and I don't want him to be miserable. I don't want him to hate something that he does otherwise love. So where he is right now, which is not being a pro wrestler, is where he should stay. And long may it continue, in my opinion.
Never worry about being embarrassed or being wrong. A momentary blush is better than a lifetime of regrets. Do you know who said that quote? CM Punk. All right, technically he didn't. It was just some bollocks that popped up on Pinterest when I Googled quotes about being wrong. But the point actually still stands. You see, I could have sat here and played it safe in the glory days of late 2019 and said an old bloke would retire, or the man who dropped a podcast pipe bomb before it was cool on WWE probably wouldn't return to a company he despised just because it was Rumble season. But I didn't. What I did was insist that not only was CM Punk going to return in 2020, he was going to do it at number 30 in the Royal Rumble. Boy, when I get things wrong, I get them spectacularly wrong, don't I? Dean Ambrose leaving WWE is a work. It's a work. It's a bloody work, I told ya! Look, what I'm supposed to do now is sit here and admit that Adam Clery was right all along, learn from my mistakes, and move on. We all know that's not going to happen. Look, would CM Punk have wrestled in 2020 had the ongoing global bastard not intervened? We'll never know. What we do know are the two conditions that CM Punk requires for him to return to a wrestling ring. He revealed it on Renee Paquette's Oral Sessions podcast. A story that would be fun to tell, and also just the stupidest amount of money. WWE has Scrooge McDuck levels of cash in the bank, so all that's required is for them to write a decent storyline. It's a long shot, but you heard it here first. CM Punk will return to the wrestling ring in 2021.
1 year ago, I predicted that AEW and NXT collectively would defeat Monday Night Raw in the ratings. The gist was that Monday Night Raw was this spiralling out of control mess of a show. AEW was a juggernaut, NXT was going to book and book and book to try and keep it up, and sure enough they did. Raw tumbled below 2 million across 2020 multiple times. AEW managed to crack 1 million once or twice, and the important thing was, anyway, 2 shows combined in that viewership number. We don't talk about demos because NXT never win them, but in that total viewership number, at least twice, I think I might be claiming one of those on a technicality. Indeed, AEW and NXT collectively did beat Monday Night Raw. Pat myself on the back. Or not, because if you actually go back and watch that video, you'll find that I ended it saying that in 2020, all of us will just feel better. And I did not predict that I would be recording a follow-up video to that in one of my children's rooms, having worked here for the better part of 8 months. Nobody feels better, everybody feels much worse. So we should all pat ourselves on the back a little bit less, I think. My best to everybody out there for 2021. My only bold prediction for this year is that it's just slightly less minging than the last one.
I made an enormous bold prediction for 2020 that I got massively wrong. Massively wrong. Look, informed by the fact that Triple H had liked a series of tweets in which he was tagged critical of Vince McMahon, I thought, you know what, the bust-up's coming. It's been coming for 5 long years. What's happened is that for those 5 years, Vince McMahon has just virtually destroyed all of those NXT prospects that Triple H has worked so hard trying to build. So hard. Do you know how many Wrestling Observer newsletter editions Triple H had to do Control and F on to get the star ratings to see how good they were in PWG, all those guys? And that's a lot of typing. That is a lot of typing. A lot of keyboard work. All flushed down the drain because Vince McMahon is totally and utterly incompetent. So that's why I made the prediction. I thought that bust-up's coming. 5 years, the longer you stew on something, the longer you hate someone, the more that hate intensifies. So if it doesn't happen this year, and it didn't happen last year, regrettably, I got that one wrong, it's going to happen eventually. You can just imagine Triple H just seething when he hit that like button on those tweets, man. I can just see him, Slipknot blaring in his ear. He loves Slipknot, very intense. NXT's very intense, he loves that Slipknot. Just imagine him stewing in Gorilla with a copy of a PWG DVD, ready to smash Vince over the head with it. Get this or die, he says. You can't see California without Super Dragon's eyes, Vince. You just can't see it. You just can't see it. Then finally, gets the arms, pedigree on Gorilla floor. It's about time to smash that chrome straight into the dome, pal. And you know, if it doesn't happen this year, again, just like I got it wrong, didn't happen last year, then it's certainly going to happen soon, because Johnny Gargano is about to get cooked.
Now I know there's going to be varying degrees of success in this video. I'm looking at you, Adam Wilbourn, but god damn it, I am good. I predicted that The Undertaker would retire in 2020 at Survivor Series. Now, okay, yeah, probably that wasn't the boldest of predictions in the world in 2019, especially after we saw that Goldberg match. The less we speak of that, the better. I did also kind of say that it would be in a match at Survivor Series, when I guess his last match was the WrestleMania with AJ Styles. I did also say that he'd lose that match, and he won at Mania against Styles and rode his motorbike off into the sunset. I did also say that that would be the last we'd ever see of The Undertaker on WWE TV. And well, judging by the amount of like documentaries and special appearances and Hot Wings shows that he's been doing, throw in a future Hall of Fame induction, yeah, that's not going to be happening. We're going to be seeing a lot more of The Undertaker. But I'm going to take it as a win. He managed to go out on his own terms in, like, his last match was a legitimate match of the year contender, which is just fantastic, and we got the big send-off. I guess wasn't what we all expected it to be, but I mean, neither was the rest of 2020, so what can we do? But yeah, so I'm going to take it as a win, a small victory in a really crappy year.
Vince McMahon, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, the owner of the Kiss My Ass Club, retiring in 2020. That was probably we all knew he wasn't really going to do it. It's more of like a hope, what we all kind of wanted for the business, the industry, what we wanted to go forward, and it just didn't happen, did it? No, not even the global bastard could stop him. Not even the prospect of the XFL, which I thought that he would turn his attention to, and let other people, like say, let a man like a Paul Heyman or an Eric Bischoff help run his company. No, he is, and always will be, someone who can't let go, it seems, and he's going to be here till the end of time. The owner of the Kiss My Ass Club, probably one of the only Kiss My Ass Clubs that we have ever known of, like in history. He didn't quit in 2020, did he? And if anything, he got more hands-on again when he was meant to not. So I don't know. He should probably look. He should start thinking about handing over like at least some of the creative stuff over to like Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Triple H, the Game, the winner of that title there like 1 billion times. But he's not going to, is he? And it's just so funny when you look in stark comparison to where Raw is now and SmackDown, and let's say where AEW Dynamite is. Like, it's just night and day. Like, there's no competition here. Like, there's a reason AEW Dynamite has grabbed so much ground from everyone else and is at the top of the game, whereas Vince is slowly melting away and punish booking people like Lana, throwing FTR out like they did with the weird, I think it's penis gel. I don't know exactly what it was. There's enough of this running. There's enough of this ranting now. Vince, I predicted you'd retire in 2020. You didn't. If anything, you got more powerful than I can imagine. Let's just hope that maybe you step back a bit, and maybe do another documentary. He's Gonna Puke Part 2. Please.